Since there have been tons of new changes to build crafting, here's an update to the Invincible Warlock build guide. This requires absolutely no artifact mods and will work in any future season. I will have a dim link to the build in the description. Now, this is a universally applicable build for Solar Warlocks, which will make you everyone's favorite Warlock to have on their team, since you will never die, and you'll be that one guy who can provide your teammates with amazing buffs, such as faster reload speed in your well with Lunafactions, or be the one generating heavy ammo with Aeons. You can run any exotic armor you want with this build, and it won't hinder the effectiveness at all. This is my go-to build when a well is needed in endgame, or when I'm solo flawlessing a dungeon. It may not be the fanciest, most explosive killing machine build, but it is consistently good, and I could promise that. Now let's jump right into what you need. For your super, use Well of Radiance. For your class ability, you will want Healing Rift. I recommend Burst Glide so you can sword skate and well skate, and just have faster movement in general. Incinerator Snap, and Healing Grenade. For aspects, you will want Touch of Flame and Icarus Dash. For fragments, use Ember of Empyrean, Ember of Solace, Ember of Torches, and Ember of Tempering. For weapons, the main thing is to have at least a solar weapon, preferably an SMG with incandescent, as they can kill enemies real quick. And this build works great at close range. A Callus mini tool is my go-to, but Borrowed Time and the new dungeon SMG No Survivors are great as well. No Survivors is a great new option to go for because it can roll with Demolitionist and Incandescent, which works amazing with this build. One thing that I like about the Callus and Borrowed Time though, is that you can get them with Surround and Threat Detector. Surround gives a whopping 40% bonus to weapon damage when 3 or more enemies are around, and it stacks with Radiant, which is a 25% damage buff, to grant a total of 65% increased weapon damage to your SMG. This is a great choice for master content and day 1 raids because it can melt through tougher enemies super quick, allowing you to keep that restoration active even in the toughest content. If you need more range, some other great choices for weapons include the BXR Battler and Polaris Lance. You can get a BXR with Incandescent and Demolitionist, which is my recommendation if you're going to use this gun. And the Polaris Lance is phenomenal for range as well. Just make sure to get the Catalyst for it. The ignitions are great for killing enemies quickly when at range. Run whatever heavy you want, but if you want to have some fun and you've never sword skated before, grab yourself a Half-Truths or a other half with Eager Edge and try it out. It's a blast. If you know how to sword skate, you can skip this part. If you want to learn, I'll give you a real quick tutorial. Now it may take some practice, so be patient when mastering the inputs. But I think it's definitely worth learning if you're going to be playing Solar Warlock more. All you have to do is jump, pull out the sword, light attack, put the sword away, Icarus Dash, and then hit your double jump burst glide to carry your momentum. That's it. I have a more in-depth guide on well skating and sword skating if you want to learn more. For now, let's move on with the build. For armor, you can run any exotic. Aeons and Lunafactions are 2 main exotics I find myself using when running most endgame content with other people, since they're amazing support exotics, and they don't interfere with the build functionality. For solo content, I like to run Claws of Ahamkara for that extra charged melee. This comes in handy when you need to extend restoration quickly and tons of enemies are around. Incinerator Snap is pretty powerful, so whatever lives through the first one will definitely get destroyed by the second one. Plus, that's another option to keep Radiant brocked. It is a very underrated exotic, and it's my go-to if I don't know what to run or don't need to run anything specific. Your stats should be resilience and discipline focused. For your helmet, you will want a harmonic siphon mod so you are creating orbs with the solar weapon you will be killing everything with, and a heavy ammo finder and a scout on. You will want a double grenade kickstart on your gauntlets, so you get a nice amount of grenade energy back as soon as you throw your healing grenade, consuming your armor charges. And all you have to do to get an armor charge is pick up an orb of power. If you have extra energy, Heavy-handed is an extra mod you can add that's pretty good. For your chest, Add whatever resistance mods you need for whatever activity you are running, and charged up, so that way you get that extra armor charge slot, which feeds into that grenade kickstart. On your legs, you will want stacks on stacks, which will give you an extra armor charge per orb you pick up. This is super useful because the grenade kickstart refills grenade energy based on the number of armor charges consumed. This makes it really quick and easy to get lots of armor charges. You will also want to run double innervation, so that way you get grenade energy back from simply picking up orbs of power. For your class item, you want double bomber and reaper. This will make it so that whenever you activate your healing rift, it gives you an instant chunk of grenade energy back, and the next weapon kill you get will create an orb of power, feeding into this whole loop. So the gameplay loop of this build works like this. Throw your healing grenade at your feet to proc restoration ×2, then immediately throw out your melee at some enemies to kill them and increase your timer for restoration, as well as make you radiant, giving you that 25% weapon damage bonus. Thanks to Ember of Empyrean, your restoration and radiant timers are extended for every solar kill you get, either with an ability or weapon. You gotta keep that restoration timer procced. As long as you got restoration going, you will feel invincible. Just make sure to keep your eye on that timer. If you find you are out of restoration and need your healing grenade back soon, that's why you got your healing rift. So use that healing rift to get that temporary safety, as well as refill a chunk of grenade energy. Pick up orbs whenever you see them, and you'll have your grenade back in seconds. Now, that's the gist of the build. I hope you find this useful, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask me in the comments. Have fun out there.